Jumpluff fires off the aerial ace, and aerial ace will be secure on the knockout. Jumpuff leaves very healthy with a protect shield too high behind. The opponent sends out Vigaroth, aka the king of the theme cup. The opponent doesn't even build up to the rock slide. Cutlassboy withstands the damage, and he's going to full send the solar beam. Vigaroth very quickly going to find itself straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jamie Finn 1415, and today we are back at it with my first long upload of season 19. And we've got Cutlassboy out here memeing and beaming with Solar Beam Shadow Jumpluff. Cutlassboy is on an ABB double grass strategy. We've got the Steel Penguin Empoleon in the lead, operating as the team's anti-fire, anti-ice and fly-in. We've got Trevenant as the say switch, looking to draw out Jumpluff's hardest counter, allowing Jumpluff with that Hail Mary of Solar Beam to sweep the endgame. We're going to keep the intro short and sweet. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, Cutlassboy not off to the best start, seeing Charger Bug. The Steel Penguin not all that common. Ironically, probably because of how common Charger Bug is. We see the say switch into Trevenant. Cutlassboy tanks the X-Scissor, returns fire with the Shadow Ball, forcing a protect shield. Cutlassboy happy to match shields, looking to get this bug out of here. The opponent now say switches into Toxapex, and Trevenant is going to full send the Shadow Ball. Toxapex, without a doubt, the most boring, bulkiest mon in the format, withstands the damage, no problem whatsoever. Cutlassboy now sends back out Empoleon that is going to operate as a complete wall to all of this useless energy. Due to our steel water type, the poison jabs and sludge wave are double resisted, and the brine is single resisted. Empoleon insanely glassy, but look how pathetic this damage output is. Cutlassboy heavily overfarms before firing off the hydro cannon, which will be securing the knockout. If Charger Bug does return, Cutlassboy can one and throw as he does for optimal fast move time in hydro cannon, forces the opponent's final protect shield, and we see the simul swap of Jumpluff into the cheeky little monkey Vigaroth, aka the king of the themed cup. The opponent builds the rock slide. We see the instant no shield deployed. Cutlassboy with huge cojones calls the bait, and we're full sending the solar beam. The opponent has no protect shields, too hard behind. Vigaroth near gets one shot, one more fairy win, gets the job done. Back out comes Charger Bug, and Cutlassboy is going for that BM solar beam, and you love to see it. Cutlassboy shields up the X's and returns fire with the solar beam. Solar beam is resisted, but we're a shadow. We get same type attack bonus, and it's more than enough to pick up the dub. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the Dream lead. This is exactly where the team wants to see it, as our backline definitely does not fancy any flying type damage. Cutlassboy fires off the hydro cannon, forcing a protect shield. The opponent likely looks to Brave Bird and dip. The opponent fires off the Brave Bird, and holy cow, that does so much damage. The opponent then looks to snipe with Charger Bug, and we respond with Trevenant. The X-Scissor will hit the neutral here due to ghost resisting bug and grass taking super effective. Trevenant can withstand one, but the second will knock out. I think an argument could have been made that Cutlassboy should have fired off the Shadow Ball earlier, just looking to keep two protect shields, as the opponent's now going to come back in with Pidgeot and get a huge amount of free farm. Trevenant will be able to chip with a Seed Bomb that is single resisted, however all of our ghost type damage is double resisted due to Pidgeot's normal typing. Cutlassboy now finds himself in somewhat of a tricky situation. We send out Jumpluff, and stay in school kids learn to count. Cutlassboy catches the move back onto the Penguin. The opponent full sends the Brave Bird. Jumpluff now looks for the Fairy Wind farm down, and out comes Dubwall. Cutlassboy again looks to YOLO the solar beam. Unfortunately, we lose CMP, but you can see Jumpluff, even as a shadow, very tick. We easily withstand the body slam, return fire with the solar beam, and look at the damage. Cutlassboy should be able to now Fairy Wind farm all the way down and double aerial ace Pidgeot for the dub. The opponent reaches the body slam. They look to reach another. They don't get there. Back out comes Pidgeot. Cutlassboy fires off the first aerial ace, forcing the opponent's final protect shield. We're doubled up, and the second aerial ace is going to be all she wrote, with Jumpluff being a Pidgeot counter confirmed. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. The entire team is fairly soft to this, especially if the opponent looks to start investing protect shields. Cutlassboy throws 7 Steel Wings and the Hydro Cannon for optimal fast move timing, and the Penguin already finds itself below half health. The opponent fires off the Flame Charge, vamping up their attack. Empoleon able to reach the second Hydro Cannon, but if the opponent shields this, which they do, we might find ourselves in somewhat of a tricky spot. That one Incinerate did so much damage. Talonflame fires off the Flame Charge. The next Incinerate does absurd damage. Luckily for us, we're able to reach the Shadow Ball before the third Incinerate registers, and Talonflame does go down. The opponent sends out Swampert to counter Trevenant, which can only mean one thing. They are so weak to Grass, and Trainer, we've got not one Grass type, but two. Cutlassboy, probably smiling ear to ear, knowing Jumpluff is in a prime position to sweep. The opponent looking to build up to a potential Sludge Wave. But one Sludge Wave won't be fatal. The opponent actually throw the Earthquake, and that is a huge mistake. They should have went straight Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon would only be single resisted, whereas the Earthquake is double resisted. But as I'm yapping away, we land the Solar Beam. Out comes the silly Electric Fish, and Jumpluff is about to claim back-to-back victims. Get that Lantern off my screen, and Cutlassboy takes that game. In the next battle, we see the Quagman in the lead. Not fantastic. We save switch into Trevenant, and the opponent responds with Charger Bug. And this is a very flippable matchup. Cutlassboy tanks the first X-Scissor, fires one Shadow Claw and the Shadow Ball. So 2 turn into 4 turn. You just want to throw on odd numbers, as Cutlassboy does, not allowing the opponent 4 free turns. We only give away 2. To be honest, it's not ideal, but it's the best you can hope for. Ideally, you always want to give away 1 free turn. Have a 2 turn into 4 turn is one of them scenarios where it's impossible. So giving away 2 free turns is alright. Cutlassboy has obtained himself shield advantage in the mid game, and Jumpluff is going to do Jumpluff things, hopefully nuking the shit out of everything. Cutlassboy sends in Jumpluff. He's looking to heavily overfarm. X is a hits for neutral due to flying resisting Bug, and Grass Taken super effective. The opponent actually goes for the discharge and then send out Cradilly. Cradilly is going to take neutral from the Grass, and they are not going to appreciate this Solar Beam. Solar Beam lands for big damage, and we see the pivot back into the Steel Penguin. Empoleon gets the Steel Wing farm down. Back out comes the Quagman. We see the instant no shield deployed. Does the opponent have Mud Bomb? Yes, they do, but Empoleon hangs on a sliver of HP and able to return fire with the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon will certainly put this into Aerial Ace range. Back out comes Jumpluff. We look to reach the Aerial Ace but lose CMP. Stone Edge would do more than a discharge or an X-Scissor, so that is the correct shield usage. Jumpluff returns fire with the Aerial Ace. Cutlassboy goes for the undercharge, but it is still lethal. Back out comes Charger Bug. Jumpluff wins the race, and we're going to take that game. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see the Steel Penguin into another Pidgeot. This one is the shiny variant, so of course it does more damage. Just kidding. We see the save switch into Charger Bug, and we respond with Trevenant. Cutlassboy tanks the X-Scissor, and he's going to look to return fire with the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball won't quite be fatal from this range, but will leave the opponent incredibly low. The opponent looks to at least make a play at taking switch, but Cutlassboy's like, nah, you're not having switch. We need alignment. Cutlassboy shields at the X-Scissor, and again we're full sending the Shadow Ball. This time it will be fatal with the residual Shadow Claws. Shadow Ball does secure the knockout. Back out comes Pidgeot, and Pidgeot does get a very nice wing attack farm down. We send back out the Steel Penguin. We've already seen in a previous battle that Brave Bird does a lot of resisted damage, but this opponent goes for the Feather Dance bait, killing a poor defenseless cat in the process. We then look to fire off the Hydro Cannon. The opponent makes a very nice catch, or at least I thought it was a nice catch, until they invested a Protect Shield. Feather Dance lowers your attack by 2 stages, so I've got no idea why the opponent switched and then invested a Protect Shield. Cutlassboy not complaining, looking to YOLO the Solar Beam. Solar Beam near one-shots Vigaroth. Cutlassboy now very much in the driver's seat. The opponent fires off the Body Slam, which isn't lethal. Back out comes Pidgeot. Pidgeot is going to be hit with the Aerial Ace that won't do too much damage. The opponent is going to get a very nice wing attack farm down, but they're going to need to reach 2 moves before we reach 1, and that simply is not happening. This is almost certainly going to be another Feather Dance, but it's better to be safe than sorry. We shield up the Feather Dance, reach the Hydro Cannon, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the Steel Penguin into Venusaur, a matchup we can win in the 1 shield due to us pacing at the same speed and the Steel Penguin having a higher attack. But as always, when running an ABB team, it is always good to pivot, looking to draw out a potential counter for one of your B types. We see the save switch into Trevenant. Trevenant tanks the Sludge Bomb, returns fire with the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball forces a Protect Shield. Cutlassboy looks to shield in return. Of course, the opponent is always going to Frenzy Plant there, as we are so low. Cutlassboy recognising he needs to land the Shadow Ball, as Seed Bomb would be double resisted. We force the opponent's final Protect Shield, but unfortunately, we do get Vine Whip farm down. Venusaur leaves with residual energy. We send out Jumpluff. The opponent sends out Azumarill. Trainer, are you serious? Of course, Azumarill has always been a meta top dog due to his ability to hit back grass counters with its access to Ice Beam. In Jumpluff's case, it's actually double super effective, but despite this, we do survive one due to Azumarill having a non-existent attack stat. The opponent reaches the next Ice Beam. Looks like we attempted to make the catch, but the game said no. You can see Jumpluff shrugs off the damage, leaves with the Solar Beam, but we're going to lose CMP to the returning Venusaur, so we actually look to sacrifice Empoleon. This Frenzy Plant is going to do huge damage, but the Penguin able to hang on and get the Steel Wing farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Swampert, and oh my god, Solar Beam, massive overkill. The poor goat gets sacrificed to the Pokegods, and Cutlassboy takes that game. In the next battle, we see some very nice spice. Hisuian Arcanine, something I didn't expect to see, but we love spice on the channel, so shout out this opponent. Both trainers hitting each other for neutral with their fast moves, due to one of the typings taking super effective and the other resisting. Cutlassboy looks to win lead, shielding his low health Penguin, and we see a very nice catch onto the Grass Snake Superior, and we now see the battle of the grass types. In my opinion, a favourable matchup for our Cotton Ball. We both got access to Aerial Ace, but snakes do not fly, and apparently Cotton Balls do. Jumpluff fires off the Aerial Ace, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Jumpluff able to reach the second Aerial Ace. The second Aerial Ace isn't quite lethal. However, we can survive one more ourselves. Jumpluff then is going to be able to commit to the Fairy Wind farm down and leave with residual energy. Arcanine is still alive, and the opponent likely looked to snipe. Back out comes Arcanine. The opponent does get the snipe. It's now Trevenant with a Protect Shield versus whatever's in the back. The opponent has the very annoying Toxic Nipple. Luckily for us, we do have a Protect Shield to shield up the potential Sludge Wave, which they will reach after 10 poison jabs. Cutlassboy looks to make the catch. It didn't look like the cleanest. It's actually a Gunk Shot, so the opponent was spamming the move. Gunk Shot actually takes 11 poison jabs. The opponent recognised the game's over and concede the match. In the next battle, we see Wish Daddy Cash. We see the save switch into Trevenant, once again drawing out Charger Bug, but this time we've got a very nice energy lead. We tank the X's, a Cutlassboy fires off one Shadow Claw and the Shadow Ball. We've seen every single bug shield this move up, and this one is no different, also shielding up the Shadow Ball. Cutlassboy happy to exchange shields. We shield up the X-Scissor. Cutlassboy again looking for that kill shot, does the opponent. Respect the damage. Shadow Ball goes unshielded, and just like that, we're going to get the opportunity to realign, but unfortunately our Steel Penguin has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, as they are ABA strong into us. Trevenant forces the final Protect Shield with the Seed Bomb. We send back out the Penguin, looking to use it as the damage sponge. The opponent pivots into Daddy Cash. We show him Jumpluff, and the opponent says, no thank you, I'm out of it. In the next battle, we see Lapras in the lead. I've not seen anyone run Lapras, however, I personally ran it the other day. Shout out to Moustache, who did suggest it. Yes, the world's most washed up battler, Jamie Finn, is back battling. Now I've got a new phone. I'm actually streaming regularly on Discord. So if you want to join Discord, it's linked down below. I'm also looking to stream on YouTube fairly soon. I have got a laptop now. I've just got no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to try and YouTube it and figure it out. So hopefully YouTube streams will be up soon. I'm actually off work today, so I'm going to YouTube it, try and figure out what I'm doing, and hopefully we can have an ELO reveal stream. I'm doing alright this season, to be honest. I've got 91 wins out of 123 battles. That does give me a win rate of 73.9%. So perhaps I might even get a good start in ELO. But we've got distracted. And there's another big boom. Salazzle straight in and straight out. Trevenant Shadow Claw farms down Lapras. Chestnut has nowhere to run, and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we see another bug. We see the save switch into Trevenant. Oof. Drawing out Wiggles. Seed Bomb has been buffed this season. Do 2 Seed Bombs now threaten a knockout? Let's go. It looks like we can actually either realign or force a shield. Either's fine for us. We're just looking to gain an advantage in the mid game, and that is exactly what Cutlassboy has done. He does force a Protect Shield. We can now send out the Penguin, get a massive Steel Wing farm down, and get a Hydro Cannon ready for that returning bug. Wiggly, much like previous seasons, did get a buff this season, getting access to Swift, but regardless, the Penguin still completely walls every possible moveset. Back out comes Charger Bug. We fire off the Hydro Cannon, forcing a Protect Shield, and we've now got Jumpluff with a 2 to no shield advantage, looking to clean up. The opponent fire off the Discharge. That is at least the third time that we've seen someone discharge our Jumpluff. Both Discharge and X-Scissor hit for neutral. They both do exactly the same amount of damage. X-Scissor is cheaper, so if you're stuck on this matchup, just throw X-Scissors. The opponent must have got the memo, as they do go for the X-Scissor the next time. Perhaps they think that's a bait, but really it's the correct move to throw. It is what it is. Jumpluff. Now going to start shielding. We shield up the X-Scissor. Cutlassboy finds himself all shields down. We attempt to make the catch. We don't make that catch. We do manage to steal Wing Farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is the Quagman. The Quagman isn't going to be able to reach the Stone Edge before we reach the Solar Beam. And Jumpluff claims another victim. And Cutlassboy takes that game. In the next battle, surprise, surprise, another Charger Bug. As this thing is here, there, and every fucking where. Luckily for us, most Charger Bug leads don't really have a clean response for Trevenant. Most common backlines are stuff like Vigaroth and Quagsire. I think this is why it's important to never throw an alignment, as the opponent has got the potential to catch a Shadow Ball onto Vigaroth, although I think that is a pretty hard play to make, as most trainers with any idea on how to play this matchup aren't going to spam a move on alignment. Like I've said time and time again, 2-turn into 4-turn, always throw in the middle of the animation. Not only does that not allow him to catch, it also gives away the minimum amount of free turns. So if you are someone using this common team of Charger Bug, Vigaroth and a Mud Boy, if you want to make a savage double resisted Shadow Ball catch, you've got to start pausing. So what I mean by pausing is just not tapping your phone. So how you'd make that catch, you can either throw 1 Volt Switch, pause 2 turns as the opponent likely free and throw a Shadow Ball, or perhaps they're going to 1 and throw. So you just pause 2 turns and try your luck at making the catch. Of course, out comes Vigaroth. The opponent doesn't build up to the Rock Slide. However, an argument could be made to shield the Body Slam, as I'm almost certain it's Quagsire in the back. And they are going to have to reach a Stone Edge to knock us out if he would have shielded up the Body Slam. Solar Beam secures the 1-hit KO, and of course it's the Quagman. Cutlassboy thinking about shielding, going to shield up the Aqua Tower, and we need to make the catch. It's going to be CMP. We look to fire off the Solar Beam, and we do lose the charge attack priority. However, I think it's very unlikely the opponent has Mud Bomb. Do they have it? They do not. We reach the Hydro Cannon and Shadow on Shadow Crime. Hydro Cannon is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the battle of the Steel types. Not the best matchup for us, as we're hitting for resisted. The opponent is hitting for neutral. The opponent doesn't commit to the Thunder, which is a mistake. However, we do make a very nice double resisted Power Whip catch onto Jumpluff, drawing out Toxapex. You know what's up. Unfortunately, Solar Beam isn't going to one-shot, but it's always nice to land the beam. The beam still does big damage, considering Toxapex is one of the thickest mon in the format. The opponent fire off the Brine. That certainly isn't the right play. That is going to allow us to reach an Aerial Ace. Perhaps the opponent just wants to get lower, giving Empoleon less farm. The opponent makes a huge mistake, shielding up an Aerial Ace. This opponent really needs to go to school and learn to count, as we had nowhere near enough energy for the Solar Beam. But Cutlassboy has managed to obtain himself some kind of advantage in the mid game. We send out the Penguin, which will be operating as the damage sponge. Cutlassboy heavily over farms before firing off the Drill Peck. Drill Peck will be securing the knockout. Suddenly this Ferrothorn matchup isn't looking all that bad, as we've got a huge energy lead and a 2-to-1 shield advantage. Back out comes Ferrothorn. We throw 1 Steel Wing and the Drill Peck. Drill Peck does over half the opponent's remaining HP. The Penguin able to outpace to the second Drill Peck. Drill Peck goes unshielded, securing the knockout. The opponent's final Pokemon is Gastrodon, and that is going to be check and mate. You see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent fire off the double resisted Body Slam, but no bait. We'll be saving this opponent's fate. Cutlassboy now at the double Seed Bomb. He's even fully undercharging. The opponent doesn't invest that Protect Shield. Cutlassboy having some fun. The opponent is wasting his time. So he's wasting theirs in return. We Simul KO. Empoleon is still alive, and we take that game. In the next battle, we see some more spice on display as the opponent has that Pokeball impersonator Electrode. This thing does have access to Foul Play, and it's going to hurt. Cutlassboy tanks the Foul Play. He's left incredibly low, and he's going to return fire with the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball, of course, goes shielded. The opponent's going to have a tough time with Spark farming us down. They recognise that, and they look to fire off the next charge move. Cutlassboy looks to get rid of Electrode, firing off the Seed Bomb. The Shadow Claws have put this thing below half health, so Seed Bomb should be enough to knock out. The opponent goes all in on their Pokeball. The opponent is yet to switch, so Cutlassboy waits at his timer, looking to call it off, and we send out Jumpluff. Jumpluff is going to take neutral from the discharge. The opponent actually fire off the foul play. Unlike Charger Bug, Discharge would have been the correct move to play here, as Foul Play doesn't get the same type attack bonus, so Discharge would have done slightly more. Cutlassboy fires off the Aerial Ace, securing the knockout, and out comes Raichu. What is this team? Cutlassboy looks to fire off the Solar Beam, but loses CMP. The opponent bait with the Brick Break, but no bait. We'll be saving this Raichu's fate. Get that Raichu off my screen, Solar Beam. Massive overkill. The opponent's final Pokemon is a Azumarill. Oh, heartbreakingly. We play to the CMP tie. We do not win. Play rough does secure the knockout. No beams are going to be landed on Azumarill, but Empoleon does resist everything in Azumarill's arsenal. So regardless, we are going to pick up the dub. But my God, did I want to see another beam land. The opponent fires off the Hydro Pump. Empoleon withstands the damage. Cutlassboy fires off the BM Hydro Cannon, and we're able to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we are still Penguin into the cheeky little monkey. It's a no thank you from Cutlassboy and a save switch into Trevenant. The opponent might look to chip and dip, or they could potentially stay in. Most Vigaroth do come with Charger Bug, so I guess they don't need Vigaroth as their Empoleon counter. The opponent continues to stay in, so Cutlassboy fires off the Seed Bomb. This is another matchup where the Seed Bomb buff comes in handy, as 2 Seed Bombs with the double resisted Shadow Claws are enough to knock out. Cutlassboy shields up the rock side, returns fire with the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb forces our Protect Shield back, but Trevenant is doubled up, so the opponent is going to be forced to 2 shield if they want to keep alignment. The opponent does invest both Protect Shields. They have put Trevenant in a range where even a double resisted Body Slam will be lethal. The opponent fires off the Body Slam. We then send back out the Penguin. The Penguin, of course, does take super effective from the counters, but we do wall their charge moves. The opponent fires off the Body Slam. Empoleon does get the Steel Wing farm down. We're already below half health. Out comes Lantern, and we see the pivot into Jumpluff. It now becomes very apparent why the opponent didn't switch, as they'd had a very hard check for Empoleon. The opponent fires off the Thunderbolt, chipping us, and then send out Ferrothorn. This is a matchup where having Acrobatics would be advantageous, as these Aerial Aces just don't do a lot of damage. It looks like even 3 won't be lethal. Cutlassboy respects a potential Thunder. The opponent does not bait, so a good shield. Cutlassboy now looks to overfarm. We're at the double Aerial Ace. One Aerial Ace, unfortunately, won't be lethal. We bank the next Aerial Ace, go for the snipe, sending out Empoleon. Hydro Cannon will secure the knockout. Back out comes Lantern. Lantern does commit to the Spark farm down. It's going to be a race. Can the opponent reach the Thunderbolt before we reach the Solar Beam? Yes, they can. Come on, Jumpluff. Please be thick. Thunderbolt! Heartbreakingly knocks us out. GG's to that opponent. The tough leads continue. The Shadow UFO, we see the save switch into Trevenant, drawing out Victory Bell. Victory Bell, by no means a good response. Cutlassboy thinking Shadow Vix, essentially shield everything. We go for the double resisted Seed Bomb bait, and the opponent calls it. Holy what cojones. But Trevenant says there's plenty more of where that came from. The next Seed Bomb does force the Protect Shield. At this stage, I think we're just going to let Trevenant go down. We actually shield up the Acid Spray. We do have Switch, but now Magnezone is just going to get even more farm. Back out comes Magnezone. Is the opponent counting? Do they know this is only a Seed Bomb? The opponent invests their final Protect Shield, perhaps opening up an opportunity for a win con. We send out Jumpluff. Jumpluff not going to appreciate a Wild Charge. Holy crap, that does so much damage. The opponent resets their debuff, sending out Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff tanks the beam to the face. Big booms going off left, right, and centre. Empoleon gets the Steel Wing farm down. The opponent is going to need to double up. They don't get there, and Empoleon is a Magnezone counter confirmed. What a crazy endgame. GG's to both trainers. Heading into the next battle, we see the Quagman in the lead. Again, we're going to save switch into Trevenant, drawing out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death. Cutlassboy looking to sneak the Shadow Ball through 2 Protect Shield. Shadow Ball, of course, does go shielded. The opponent is going to commit to the full Incinerate farm down. Cutlassboy recognising we're going to be unable to reach the Shadow Ball, just chips him with the double resisted Seed Bomb. We have managed to put this Talonflame below half health, but Steel Wing farming down is going to be a tough task from here. The opponent fire off the first flame charge. The opponent was at 100 energy, so they're able to fire off back-to-back Cutlassboy. Shields up the second. Holy cow, we're getting so low. If the opponent shields this, we're in trouble. Cutlassboy fires off the Hydro Cannon. Thankfully, the opponent just lets Talonflame go down, and we see the pivot into Jumpluff. The opponent farms the potential Stone Edge. I don't think you'd bait here. Cutlassboy agrees. Last second, invest that Protect Shield. Correctly shield at the Stone Edge, and out comes Vigaroth. Cutlassboy looking to YOLO the beam. Solar Beam goes unshielded. Look at the damage. Vigaroth is going to reach the rock slide, but Cutlassboy does not care. He's going to be able to Fairy Wind farm all the way down, and it's time to play the bait game with Quagman. Quagman's going to be 6 mod shots off the next Stone Edge. Cutlassboy baits with the Air Release. Air Release forces the Protect Shield. Do we look to make the catch? Unless I'm mad, the opponent's only thrown 5 mod shots, so the one short. The opponent thinks Aqua Tail is enough to KO. It is not. Jumpluff, far too tick, survives the resisted Aqua Tail, reaches the Solar Beam, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle, yet another lost lead. Poliwrath very advantageous in this battle of water types. We see the save switch into Trevenant, drawing out Vigaroth. Cutlassboy continues to farm up, allowing the opponent to throw first. The opponent chips us with the rock side. Cutlassboy farms up, returns fire with the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb forces the Protect Shield. Cutlassboy continues to farm up, allowing Vigaroth to reach a potential rock slide. The opponent baits with the double resisted Body Slam. However, Cutlassboy is now doubled up, so the opponent is going to be forced to double shield if they want to maintain alignment. Let's see if the opponent does want to take switch. The opponent invests both Protect Shields. This is more or less best case scenario, as we can take our shield advantage, Steel Wing farm down this Vigaroth, and look to get a Drill Peck ready for the likely return in Poliwrath. Although as the opponent shields down, they likely send out their third. The opponent fire off the Body Slam. The opponent does indeed send out their third, which is Toxapex. We opt not to bank the charge move, just looking to put some chip damage onto this Toxapex. The opponent very strangely gives up switch advantage. I'm not sure on that play from the opponent. We fire off the Air Release. Air Release doesn't do too much damage. We're going to tank the Icy Wind. Icy Wind double super effective. Gets us deep into the red. Cutlassboy looks to farm up to the double Air Release. Air Release, despite being debuffed, will knock out from this range. Back out comes Toxapex. We are going to reach the departing Air Release, but debuff. This is going to do absolutely nothing. And it's now all down to the Penguin to clean up. Despite these poison jabs being double resisted, our Penguin rapidly running out of HP. We fire the Drill Peck. Drill Peck gets the opponent low. Unless the opponent's doubled up, then throwing a charge move is a huge mistake. We shield up the Brine. We're able to Steel Wing farm down. I think the opponent made 2 huge mistakes there. They should have committed to the poison jab farm down in the end game. And when we pivoted Jumpluff into Toxapex, they just should have stayed in. As of course, what the hell is our Empoleon going to do with 0 energy against a healthy Poliwrath? But regardless, Cutlassboy picks up the dub. In the next battle, we see yet another Vigaroth in the lead and a save switch into Trevenant. This time our Trevenant save switch is met with Mantine. Trevenant able to withstand the Air Release, reach the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball forces us. Shield advantage in the mid game. Trevenant has been so good throughout this showcase of forcing us shield advantage in the mid game, even in matchups that don't look that favourable. Cutlassboy once again sends out the Steel Penguin to operate as the damage sponge. The opponent fire off the Water Pulse that does do more damage than an Air Release. Both moves are resisted, but Water Pulse hits harder. We then return fire with the Drill Peck on the charge attack. Priority back out comes Vigaroth. Vigaroth looks for the snipe, but no one move should knock out the opponent. Fire off the Body Slam. We're going to look to return fire with a Hydro Cannon. I imagine pivot. Hydro Cannon gets the opponent's final Protect Shield, and Jumpluff once again has a 2-0 shield advantage. Cutlassboy invests the first Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Body Slam. The opponent pivots out into Chestnut. Double weak to flying. Air Release, an absolute shit move, but still almost knocks him out. The opponent can only hit us for resisted, and this game is so over. The opponent fire off the superpower, which is the correct move, as it is only single resisted. The opponent recognises the game's over and concede the match. In the next battle, we see the battle of the water types. I'd say favourable for Empoleon, as we do have the pacing advantage and our Steel Wings are only single resisted, whereas the poison jabs are double resisted. The opponent tanks the Drill Peck, pivot out into another Electrode, and we respond with Trevenant. We've already seen that Foul Play does a lot of damage, but Trevenant able to survive and not really in danger of getting Volt Switch farmed down. Cutlassboy going for the kill shot. Shadow Ball again goes shielded. Trevenant grabbing shields left, right, and centre. Cutlassboy really doesn't fancy losing alignment, as Jumpluff doesn't fancy the work of the big bulky squid. Cutlassboy YOLOs the second Shadow Ball. The opponent has managed to flip switch. Cutlassboy is going to be forced to reveal his third. So out comes Jumpluff. Let's see if this opponent recognises discharge is the correct move to throw. In fairness to the last opponent, they could have had Hyper Beam as that Hail Mary. The opponent does chip us with the discharge. And what is on my screen? Parasect. What a spicy pick, but what a dreadful matchup for the opponent. They chip us with the X's. A Cutlassboy returns fire with the Aerial Ace. Double super effective. I have never seen an Aerial Ace do so much damage. The opponent straight in and straight out. Back out comes Electrode. We fire off the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace isn't quite lethal. We see the snipe with the Penguin, and this should be GG's. Due to our Water Steel typing, we resist absolutely everything. The opponent fire off the Scald, then concede the match, and Cutlassboy ends the video picking up another big fat dub. Huge shout out to Cutlassboy for a very fun, very unique team showcase. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.